guys, Zenzi14. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit interesting. I'm going to take two random Ninjago characters from around the pilot season to season 6, because that's what I know, and combining them in various different ways to make a brand new OC. I decided to make about 5 of them. We'll see how it goes. I'll let Past Me take it from here. Let's get our first character. Hopefully it's a good one. We got the Overlord. So whatever we get is basically going to be evil. And Mr. Pale. Please. Okay, character number 2. Lloyd. Okay. That's just like default Lloyd. And Jay. Okay. Character number 3, let's go. Character number 3? Morro. Morro. Okay, the combined character. Okay. General Cryptor. Character number 4. Bolobo. So, I guess we're gonna have a naturey character? And Ash. Okay. Okay. Character number... is this 5? Character number 5. Character number 5? Jay? Jay again? And Jay combined with... Pixel. Sure, why not? Sure, why not? Now it's time to draw these. Alright, Feature B again. We're jumping into Sketchbook, which is my usual art program, to design the first new OC, which is a combination of the Overlord Mr Pale. Pretty much the second that the Overlord was selected as one of the characters to take inspiration off of, I knew I wanted to make like a cool like villain OC, because those are always fun to make. So I try to give him like a cool like villainy pose, which actually ends up looking a little bit awkward, but pretty much all these designs are like concept artish anyway, so we're not going to talk about it. I tried to take inspiration from both characters when I was designing the OC. I will say there is more of the Overlord than there is of Pale, because I was more inspired by the Overlord with this character, and when it comes to Pale, he doesn't really have a lot to go off of because he's quite literally invisible, so there's not a lot to use. But there is some elements, like his money print shirt and his gold chain I ended up using as inspiration for this OC being very obsessed with like gold and jewelry, and he's like, that's kind of like his whole thing as a character. Meanwhile, some of the elements of the Overlord that I used was like, I made his hair slightly pointed like the Overlord's helmet. I gave him like the pointy teeth and like the smoky eyes. Not to be confused with smoky eye makeup, literally smoky eyes of like evilness, whatever you call it. Me struggle with skin tone, by the way. That's always fun. So some of the other elements that I added were, say, like, I gave him some gold shoulder armor to be kind of like the Overlord's armor. Some of the color scheme is based on Mr. Pale, though, I will say. And I'm really glad that I ended up going with this color scheme, even though it's low-key giving Gaston vibes, just because for a second there, he was almost looking like kind of just, Garmadon, but like younger, like Lord Garmadon, but younger. You may have noticed a little battery warning that pops up there, by the way. I actually draw all my art on my laptop, so yeah, that's a thing. Back to his design, I got rid of his eyeliner at some point, and that was a bad decision on my part, so just pretend it's there. I gave him some gold boots, got the gold color scheme, coloring in all the jewelry, because obviously, lots and lots of gold and pearls. I mixed it up a little bit. Not everything's just gold. And obviously I gave him the purple cape from the reference picture I was using, because the purple cape looks really, like, nice. I also gave him these cool tattoos. I don't know if it really makes a lot of sense, but look, it's an OC, and the OCs are meant to be fun. And the tattoos were definitely fun, so I definitely wanted to include those in because I thought it'd be cool. Also, I thought it kind of worked well because it kind of reminds me of like kind of the wispy designs on the Overlord's like minifig and stuff, so I thought it would be kind of a nice little detail. I was gonna add shading on him, but I decided against it because it just didn't really work with the style I was going for. I did give him the glowy to the eyes and to the hair. And I actually ended up going back and getting rid of the cravat type thing that I was giving him, and I gave him more of a simpler type shirt, sort of like a gi type thing. I shaded the boots to look more gold, adjusted a few things, gave him some buttons, cleaned up the line art on the shoulder armor a bit, and then I gave him the background, and then I gave him a little bit of a glow, just to make him kind of, you know, pop from the background. And there we go. Anyways, this is Chrysos. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. He's like a self-absorbed problem child that lives in the underworld. Probably has some, like, control over dark and light. I'm not sure how, but he does. That's just what he does. And yeah, that's pretty much him. I did also draw him again after this. I edited the clothes a little bit, and I brought back the eyeliner because, yes. Also, here's an extra little drawing I did of him in some gold. Alright, on to the next OC, which is a combination of Lloyd and Jay. You'll actually see me putting the previous drawing to use a sort of a size comparison here and there into the next drawings as well, just because I wanted all the art and OCs to be around the same size. So yeah, anyway, here I am drawing him in sort of like a chill pose. I drew him some hair, which is a combination of Lloyd and Jay's hair as best as I could. I drew him in a hoodie too because I love hoodies, and I think they suit the vibe pretty well. Edited the hair a bit just because I wanted to make it a little bit better. Add some pockets, and then I removed the pockets because I actually made the hoodie longer just because I thought it'd be interesting. This OC, I didn't have as much of an idea of like who he was yet personality-wise as much as the previous one. I just figured I wanted this OC to be pretty casual looking and chill because I thought that would be a good mixture of the two characters, but in reality this character just ended up with a lot of anxiety, I think, which rather than being chill, which to be perfectly honest makes a lot of sense. So anyway, here's me coloring him in. The color scheme I took more from Jay, though I did kind of try to make the hoodie color a little bit of a aqua to kind of work. Gave the shirt green color to be like Lloyd. His hair is actually a combination of the two colors. You can see me previously mixing the colors kind of just to sort of make it a good combination of the two. I was gonna put the Destiny symbol on his shirt and then I decided it would actually look better on the sleeves, so that's what I did. I added some more details, edited the background, edited just a couple of things. I made some of the lines a bit clearer. Tried to make him pop up from the background. I wasn't sure what colors to use, and then I decided to add some lightning because I figure he's probably like a lightning elemental. I could have taken some of like Lloyd's powers, but I thought the lightning was probably just a good idea. And then I'm doing a lot of fussing with the background, because that way you can see the lightning better. Then I give him some hair shinies, messed around with the background more because I'm indecisive. And yeah, so I think that's it. So this is Elijah. He's an anxious but friendly and upbeat lightning elemental. I actually don't have a lot more else to say about him right now, but I actually will later, so stay tuned. Here's another drawing I did of him with his hood up, though, in the meantime. So let's get to the third character, which is the combination of Bolobo and Ash. When I was thinking about how to combine the characters, I thought about their elements specifically, which are nature and smoke, and that made me kind of come up with the idea for the OC's vibes to be like a dead smoky forest after a fire sort of thing. I was gonna give him 2 long sleeves, and I decided to make it 1 ripped just for the aesthetic, because we do a lot of things for the aesthetic. So then I kind of added more details, added a little like belt thing. I made his hair kind of like spiky, and then I made it a little bit longer, just to kind of suit both vibes. And then I gave him facial hair, and I was like trying to figure out should I give him longer facial hair to be more like Bolobo or not, so I kind of settled somewhere in the middle, just kind of like sideburns. And then I gave him a scar on his eyebrow, messed with some stuff there and here and there, started coloring in, and then yeah, I tried to give him kind of like a color palette that was very kind of smoky. So I gave him kind of like a muted blue and then gray, just to kind of give off those vibes. Filled in his hair to be kind of like a brownish gray. Add a little more like smoky details. And then I actually ended up giving him an eye patch just because, again, for the aesthetic. And then I gave him some green tattoos because why not? And I thought maybe it'd be kind of cool, like, if they glow when he's using his nature powers, which I'm filling in the forest right now and filling it with like smoke, kind of that like dead forest vibe I was talking about. And then I'm having him use his powers to sort of like restore the forest because I thought that'd be kind of like a cool vibe. And then I added some last minute details. So this is Jasper, who I actually have a lot more backstory for. He's a nature elemental who lives in the mountains, and his job is to basically heal forests after they've been destroyed by forest fires, sometimes with the help of his owl. In his youth, he was more of a literal firefighter, but since he was injured pretty badly, hence the eye patch, and the scar. He doesn't do it as often anymore. But in one of the fires, he ends up rescuing a baby named Elijah. See, I told you he'd be back later. Jasper actually ends up adopting Elijah and raising him, which is kind of funny considering lightning starts a lot of forest fires and Jasper's whole thing is being against it, but it is what it is. Next up, we have the fourth OC, which is a combination of Pixel and Jay. I went for a couple of different pose ideas because I wasn't sure about the vibe I was going for yet. Then I settled for a sort of chill and fun look since I figured with Jay and Pixel's personalities combined, she'd probably be pretty sassy and outgoing. And then once I was done with that, I started working on her hair, which was pretty similar to Pixel, but I added a few elements from Jay's hair as well. And then I started giving her some clothes, gave her like a hoodie to be kind of like Jay's kind of casual look, gave her a skirt for Pixel's dress basically, kind of incorporate that in. Boots, her face is pretty pixelish. Adjusted her sleeves, messed around with like what different types of shirts she should wear. I settled on like a tube top sort of thing. And then I started the coloring process, which is actually one of the funnest parts for me. I love doing the coloring. I was also deciding about this point whether or not I should give her a prosthetic robot hand or not because I kind of liked the idea, then I wasn't sure. So I did the rest of the coloring in the meantime. Most of the color scheme is based on Pixel. And then I ended up deciding at about here when I was doing the gloves that I did actually want to bring back the robot prosthetic hands, so I did. And I think she's better for it. I like it. I think it's good for her vibe. I also gave her some tattoos, which are similar to whatever Pixel has. I'm not sure what you call it. I also gave her two little hair streaks. One is blue for Jay, and the other is green for Pixel's eyes, because I wasn't able to incorporate the green anywhere else. And then I also gave her some lightning, because she's a lightning elemental as well, because of the whole Jay thing, so... Yep, gave her some hair shinies, and then from there, I just added the rest of the details, and it was done. So here's Jen. She's smart and very carefree. She works at Borg Industries. She's also a lightning elemental, but it's through technology. She uses like a special glove on her other hand that she designed to channel electricity. It's actually the invention that made Cyrus Borg offer her a job at his company. When she's not designing or coding, I figure she's usually at various nightclubs in Ninjago City. She's also unrelated, but just a big fan of retro stuff as well, in addition to modern technology. And here's an extra drawing. Finally, we got our fifth OC, which is the combination of General Cryptor and Morro. I was actually very excited about this one because Cryptor and Morro are some of my favorite characters from the show. But funnily enough, despite both of the characters being villains, I decided to go in more of an anti-hero, roguish, vigilante direction, which I guess actually does kind of fit since Morro does kind of come around in the anti-Cryptor reforms. Kind of, sort of, not really, but I'm gonna say that he does. So this boy, he has all the emo, edgy vibes of Morro, but in an ultra-modern and, like, high-tech way. I gave him a very, like, modern hairstyle, because it kind of suited Morro's edgier vibe, and Cryptor doesn't have any hair, so I started working on his face, gave him some eyebrows, kind of mostly inspired by Morro, but also has, like, a notch from Cryptor's eyebrows. Then I gave him a bunch of armor, and I changed up his whole look. I gave him just, like, a simple turtleneck, and I gave him, like, a half-skirt, sort of cape thing, because I was going to give him a larger cape, then I decided to just give him that, which I think looks really cool, so I think it worked out well. Adjusted a few more things here and there, and then I started coloring everything. Most of the color scheme is like Cryptor-ish, which is kind of a cool look, I think, so I think it worked out pretty well. And then I gave him some like green eyeshadowy type stuff to be like Morro, colored in the armor and the boots. Give him some hair highlights that are very Morro-ish just because I like the hair highlights on Morro so much and I want to incorporate that in. Then I took the dragon that's on Morro's clothes and I added it onto his belt because I thought it looked really cool and kind of like tied the look together. I also kept trying to incorporate the red from Cryptor's color scheme, but it just like wasn't working out, so I ended up turning all that stuff green. And I think it actually looks better, kind of more cohesive. So then I added the background and some extra details, and then it was done! This is Vernon. He lives in Ninjago City and fights crime at night. He's very sarcastic and can be cold at times, but he's actually very charming and secretly kind-hearted, but he wouldn't want to admit that last part or let it get around since he has a mysterious reputation to uphold. He doesn't want anyone to know who he is, just what he does, which is that he has taken the safety of Ninjago City in his own hands after seeing it destroyed so many times. I also drew him again without the mask because I wanted to know what he looks like, and I thought you guys might want to too. He's actually dating Jen, who helps him design the technology that he uses, and she also brings out the kind-hearted side in him. So, yeah. Alright guys, so that's the end of the video. We ended up with some cool combinations actually. I like how all of them turned out. It also wasn't very cursed, which shocked me a little bit. I was expecting far worse, which probably means when I do this again, I'll get hit with like the strangest combinations ever. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment telling me which OC is your favorite and subscribe for more of the random Lego filled stuff I do. So I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.